Very good, very good. We loved the sushi. We had salad so far. I think we had tuna and skipjack. We're about to go fish some more, but it was packed full flavor. I loved it. The ambiance was really cool too. Yeah, oishii. Yeah, oishii. Yeah, exactly. It's very oishikatta.
Really good. We have unlimited drinks. We've been having like the jasmine. We got jasmine tea. I think you've got tea. We got melon soda over there, which is really good. We also had a salad. It's really good. We have
variety of soy sauces, a ponzu sauce, and a soy sauce. The two of the soy sauces is like a sweeter soy sauce and a more like salty, earthy one. Yeah, you can tell the fish. The sashimi was very fresh.
Ate it.
Yeah,
it was really good.
ate it really quickly.
Alright. Hey, it's incredible. My buddy Andy here. Yeah. We both had 4 pieces. It was great. Feels pretty good. Oh, which one do you like better, skipjack or tuna? Huh?
So we just had some of the first few appetizers. We got some pork Chinese pickles, salad, and some amazingly fresh sushi. We had 2 different fish, names of which I've already forgotten. They were incredibly delicious. We also got to try them alongside a few different kinds of soy sauce. If you get the chance to try this, I would highly recommend the infused soy sauce. It's a little bit sweeter, not as salty and delicious, but if you still like the normal shoyu, the normal soy sauce, you still got some. So they still have all the variety you could want with the amazing fresh flavors that. If you think you've had good sushi, you haven't been here yet. This is delicious. Because it's so tiny.
It was really interesting. Like, I don't know, like the whole process of just like waiting and then like feeling the like fin get caught on the hook and then like pulling up, like it was kind of stressful but like kind of interesting, you know.
They did the gong, like if you
Yes.
asked, when they would hold up the fish. But yeah.
Yeah, and you get to like take a picture but the fish is still like it's like hard to hold.
I caught some prawns, and then similar experience. It was kind of odd to catch my own food, but I caught a dead one first, and then I caught a live one to make up for that, and then I also set one free by accident. So I think I set 2 free. I'm learning this now. So that makes up for it, really, and I'm excited to eat them.
My friends, they caught a mackerel, an unagi I think is Neil. It was very entertaining to watch from my end. I myself caught a prawn. It was nice. I almost caught a mackerel. I felt the liveliness. It was definitely a feeling it's definitely something you should experience once maybe. But yeah, to eat it, to eat the thing that you caught, it's kind of surreal. Yeah, it's a good experience. Ikeken, as they say in Japanese, I think.
So I went to the lower section where they had like the mackerel, and with the hooks that they give you, it's just the hook without any bait. So you have to kind of like get the hook stuck on the body of the fish to be able to get it out. And all the fish like are seeing like all the other fish getting like yanked out, so they're like really wary. One lady was really nice and she helped me like with nets, like section off the tank so that none of the really big fish would get in the way, so I could get the nice small one. That said, slippery dude.
A little bit more fun because you get to watch like the bait go around. We had like a bigger tank with bigger fish. But when you're actually doing the fishing, it's kind of chance, and you gotta like get lucky. So we're taking turns, and it just happened to be me that got lucky.
Actually looks really good.
This is our fish that we named him Lancelot.
Lancelot.
And he's sashimi now.
This is pretty good. I like this and one of the other prawns. Like I got it tempura breaded. It's really good. This was also good. I forgot how it was prepared, but
I want to say that was the buttered one.
I think it was like ubosaki, I think. Ubosaki, I think was the way that Suboyaki. I know, it was good though. Yeah, I liked it. I gotta, let's see. I'll cut this in half so you can try the grilled one.
It's basically right after catching it. Like by the time we got back to our seat, most of this was already made. There was no lag time, just good food.
And it was fun to catch.
Yeah, that was your guy. And now it's delicious.
Them being live, yeah, it was pretty fun to catch. And then them being cooked so fast, yeah, makes it pretty cool in my opinion, but he doesn't want to get cut all the way in half. Pretty good. And I sprinkled the lemon on it. This hits.
One thing that I'll definitely like suggest for anyone that wants to do KCP is to start early and plan ahead, because the visa process itself takes like, I don't know, like it took like 5 months back in when I did it in like 2022. But like what you basically have to do is you have to apply itself, and then after that you have to apply for a visa, which you do at like the embassy itself in the like city of your choice. So you need to prepare like, you know, your passport, like a copy of your passport, a copy of your driver's license. I think you need like a medical report from your doctor, and just various things. It all says online, and also anyone at KCP or like Hanukkah especially is there to help you at KCP if you need help or anything. So yeah.
The best advice I could give to someone applying is to know at least some Japanese. You might think that starting at level 1, you'll go pretty smoothly, but knowing a good amount ahead of time is really useful, because you know most of your day is not actually in class, so you'll want to know random little tidbits, and knowing hiragana and katakana is really useful. Kanji not so much, you can probably skip that if you don't know anything. And then I'd also suggest packing enough but then light so that you can bring a lot of stuff back, because boy do I have a lot of stuff.
Me, you just gotta, I don't know. It was a little bit difficult at first for me, just because I'm in LA. I had to go through my, I think I messed up one time. So like I had to go back to the consulate. So like make sure you just have everything you need when you go get your visa, to make that part as simple as possible. And that was what, but other than that, like signing up for KCP and stuff, Mike really made it easy for me.
To touch with the visa stuff, as simple as it sounds, make sure you know which consulate to actually go to.
Yes.
I live in Springfield, Missouri, so not the biggest town, and it turns out it's far away from all of them. So one phone call actually saved me from going 8 hours in the wrong direction to the wrong consulate. So making sure that you're ahead of the visa process and you're contacting everyone and like 5 times to make sure you're good is very essential to save you all the headaches later.
Yeah.
Aside from that, prep-wise, studying a little bit of Japanese, especially kanji, is very helpful. The way I did it was I just started studying the JLPT, like N5 kanji off on the side while I listened to culture videos on YouTube. Did you ever mess with those?
I did a few, like being black in Japan, like just dumb stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Since I'm moving here, it's like, why not check out
Exactly.
other people's experiences?
Yeah. And as goofy as it was, a lot of the stuff, even on the more silly ones, always had a little bit of truth to them. They taught you a little bit of how people react to things, what the general culture bits are learn how to use chopsticks. All these little things that you wouldn't normally think about were kind of just subconsciously taught to me. So when I came out here, there was much less culture shock. I knew roughly what to expect, and everything else kind of fit in with what I expected. That and the kanji, just little bits like here's the word for exit. That's an exit, isn't it? Little things like that definitely helped a lot during the getting ready period, and just having whatever studying you can beforehand will help you in class. Having everything in Japanese definitely takes some getting used to, but if you know the words for things like homework and general locations, you'll be in a very good spot when things get started to learn without having too rocky a start.
So I'm from Chicago. So we have a Japanese embassy in the area. So it's like really easy to get to. For the most part, it was pretty straightforward. Application and visa wise, very straightforward. With COVID, it made it a little bit more difficult just because there's a lot more restrictions in getting into the building, and setting up a meeting for you to meet with the consulate. But outside of that, it was very straightforward. I got my visa in a pretty short amount of time.
I went to the consulate in Nashville, Tennessee, which is the state I'm in, and it took 10 business days from when I submitted the paperwork to when I received my visa.
My recommendation when coming to KCP is to prepare for your preparation. Make all of the lists of everything you need to do, everything you need to bring, stay on top of your paperwork, and there is a lot of that to come to Japan for any reason, really. I personally was making list after list of things to pack and things to do and keep track of, and keep my affairs in order, so I was ready to go. And I think it was really, really helpful to have a designated binder folder with all my important documents and information. Preparing for school, it was a good idea to just expose yourself to any type of Japanese media, and YouTube is great, television is great, anything you can do to get comfortable with the language and with the culture. And definitely try to at least start practicing your Hiragana and Katakana if you're going in as a beginner. Otherwise, keep at whatever you're studying and just hope for the best, I guess. Try hard. Ganbatte kudasai.
For me, it takes about 45 to an hour to get there. I live in Kawagoe, so I got 2 train rides, 8 stops each. And then it depends on the day, because sometimes I have English support, but I think that's really good, especially if you're like beginning. Even if you're not, it just goes over a lot of stuff, so it's really helpful. And then I like how the classes are all Japanese compared to a US school where it's mostly English. I think it just helps the learning since that's all you're hearing, so you take it in more. And then my actual class is from 1:30 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. So it's not too bad. It's like average school time, but I think it's cool for me. So I like it.
For the lower levels up to, I want to say 4 or 3, depending on which class you get put into. The classes are usually at 1 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. So for me, that means as long as I wake up at a reasonable hour, I've got a few hours where I can relax, have a morning cup of coffee, and study a little bit before class. I've got time to do the work if I didn't do the night before, and I'm in a different dorm than him. Let me preface that. I'm in the Ikebukuro dorm, so our commute is about 25 to 45 minutes, depending on how quickly you walk to the station, and if you guys get the express train that gets there a little bit faster. But again, I try to get up I'm not the greatest. I try to get up at around 8 to 9, but that's still because, again, class time's a little after lunch. You've got a lot of comfort room to wake up, study, head off, and still reach English support, which will be a few times during the week at about 12-ish. So an hour before classes, extra time to ask all the questions you need in English and understand what's going on before actually going to class and getting all the knowledge you could want.
Personally, I found it really useful to take advantage of the school's lounge in the second story. It's a great place where you can study, use the vending machines to get a snack or like a drink. And sometimes the senseis will come in there and you can ask them questions. Personally, I found that going there in the morning, studying for a couple of hours, and then going to like English local class is really helpful. And it allows me to structure my day and get all of my studying done concisely.
I like going to the second floor to study as well, but there's also a lot of really nice cafes that you can go to around the school. And a lot of the senseis like to go to the restaurants nearby and the cafes as well, so sometimes we'll run into them, which is really fun. But I like to go to either the cafes or to the second floor lounge and study before class. English support is a really, really wonderful resource to go to. It's offered as one of the special studies classes as well. But just in general, it's a very great resource to be able to have a lot of your questions answered. And since, again, the classes are entirely in Japanese, you can actually have a chance to ask questions comfortably, especially if you're learning something that's a little bit more tricky.
The English support taught by the wonderful Kato Sensei, she will often give out just little worksheets over the chapters you're studying to go over it. She'll grade them real quick. It's not for points or anything, but it's just a check for her to see, hey, do you know the material? And for you as well. And she'll go over saying, hey, you struggled with this bit, here's how this grammar works. So she'll go over with you on all of the things that you struggle with, or all of the major points at the very beginning of the English support. And she is a godsend before tests. We have midterms coming up in a few days, and I am definitely going to be at the English support today.
When I came to KCP, I was really focused on learning the language. So I really wanted to be able to put myself out there and talk to people only in Japanese, even though I was coming with minimal experience with the language. And of course, the school has done an awesome job getting me ready to talk to people, and I've been able to talk to people, make friends, make appointments, and go places in Japanese completely. But I think one of the things that we don't talk about as much is that the American program gives you the opportunity to live in Tokyo and really enjoy the lifestyle and make the most of your time. I mean, we're sitting in an awesome restaurant right now where we get to catch our own food. That's not something I often recall doing in the United States. So you get to do a lot of really fun things, and you have some freedom with your time to develop a lifestyle, make friends, and do whatever activities can fulfill you. And KCP really helps with that. And they plan a lot of really fun excursions for the students to also help with that.
Since we live here, I've met a few Japanese native people. I even went to their house last night. They have a meerkat, and but like they are telling me how my Japanese is really good, and I think my Japanese is horrible. But it's like I just wanted, my expectation is to be able to have good conversations and be able to use it and like listen, have good listening comprehension and stuff. So I think for that, it has helped a lot for me at least.